My name is Kim McMillan,
Mm-hmm.
K-I-M,
Mm-hmm.
M-C-M-I-L-L-A-N.
What is the ethnic origin of this middle name? Higard?
Higor is Danish.
Danish?
My mother is Danish. So, yeah.
What is your birthday?
2833, 2nd of August.
So August 2nd.
Yes.
What year?
1933.
33. So you are now 86? 5? I'm
Coming
sorry,
on
I don't want to add up.
No, not I.
85. You're pretty young among Korean War veterans in
Yes.
New Zealand, right?
Yeah, I was 20 when I went over there. So
20.
Yeah.
Yes. And where were you born?
Stratford, New Zealand.
Could you spell it?
Stratford. It's in Taranaki.
Okay. And tell me about your family background when you were growing up and when you were a child, your parents and your siblings.
Let me see. I was born in Stratford, lived in Stratford for till I was about 7, I think. Yes, 7. And then we moved to Wellington, and I had a brother. I have a brother who's was born just on when we came to Wellington. What else can we say?
Okay, and tell me about the school you went through.
I went to primary school in Stratford and then came to Wellington. I was in, went to Lyell Bay School in Wellington, and then to Worcester Bay. We shifted into Worcester Bay and I went to the Worcester Bay Primary School. And then to, excuse me, Rongotai College, which is out in the eastern suburbs of Wellington.
So college means here high school or
High
actual
school, yeah.
university?
High school.
High school.
Yeah.
Okay, and when did you finish your high school? College?
Let me see, would have been 40, 48, 49, 48. Yeah.
48? And this question is important. Did you learn, you got to be honest with me, did you learn anything from school about Korean history or Korea?
No.
Not at all?
Not at all, no.
Nobody taught you about it?
No, no.
Wasn't there in the textbook either?
No, there wasn't, no. Actually didn't really know of Korea those days, you know, in my schooling days.
I'm asking this question because you went to Korea to fight for the Korean nation, and then you've been back to Korea, right? As a
No,
revisit.
I haven't. Unfortunately, I haven't.
You've never been back to Korea?
No, I would have loved to go on.
Yes, you should. And you know that Korean government has a revisit program, right? Invite you back to Korea. So if you apply, I think you can go with your daughter too. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so please let Elaine know about it, okay, that you want to go.
Yeah.
So after you graduated high school, what did you do?
I took up an apprenticeship as a carpenter.
Carpenter.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
That's the job of Jesus, right? And when did you join the military?
I came out of my time after serving 5 years apprenticeship, and how was it? It was 50. Came out of apprenticeship at 52, 53. Yeah, 53, I think. And I was working as a builder, and then one of my friends, well, school friends, joined up and to go to Korea, and I went and saw him off when he went overseas, and I thought, I'll go too. So
You were making money already, right? Around that time, and you gave up and you volunteered to join?
Yeah.
Oh boy, you weren't that smart.
No, far
Going
from
to
it.
war?
But, although the fighting as such was over when I went there, we were still on active service though, but the actual fighting had
Done.
ceased. Yeah.
Yeah. So you knew that Korean War broke out already,
Oh
right?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so, where did you get the basic military training?
Waiouru. So,
Waiouru.
yeah.
And from there, when did you leave for Korea?
It would have been October '54.
Okay. And where did you arrive?
When did we arrive?
In Korea.
Well, we flew straight through. We flew from Auckland or Whanilipai to. We went to from there to landed at Brisbane, and then we went from Brisbane to Townsville and spent a night there, and then from we went from Townsville to Manus Island to Guam. We stayed a night there, and then we went from Guam to Iwo Jima, I think it was, and then we went into
Korea.
We went into Japan first. We went to our base camp in Japan.
Yes. And then where did you arrive in Korea? Was it Gimpo?
No, Busan.
Busan?
We went from, they had two boats running between Japan and the Wosan, and the Wosan was, I can't think what the other one was called.
So you went to Korea by ship?
Yep.
And arrived in Busan?
Busan, yeah.
Tell me about the Busan you first saw, or tell me about the Korea you first saw. Be honest, okay? You can be brutally honest.
I was horrified. We, I think that the smell of Busan, you could, out at sea before we even got to the place, we could smell it. It
Was good?
Yeah. Well, they took us, once we landed in Busan, they took us on trucks to a transit camp, and there were guys there all puking on the back of the truck because of the stench, and we thought, heck, what the blazes have we struck?
Mm. So you talking to yourself, what the hell am I doing here, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
How did the Korean people look to you? Just be honest.
Depressed.
Huh?
Depressed. Yeah.
Depressed. What about their housing and the cities that you saw? Give me the detail, more detail.
Well,
you need to talk more.
Actually, it's hard to bring up the memories. The people looked depressed. The housing that we actually saw on our initial arrival there was pretty rough. It was pretty run down, and we thought, well, we have struck a very backward country. Could we put it that way? It was hard to sort of comprehend.
Mm. And from Busan, where did you go?
They put us on a train and we went up to Seoul.
Seoul?
Yeah, Seoul, and then we off there, and then we were picked up and taken to our to our units there from Seoul.
So how long did you stay in Seoul? Did you stay there long?
No.
No. So you moved
we didn't stay in Seoul at all. It was just
passing through. And then where did you end up staying? Do you remember the camp name, like a Kansas Line or Jamestown?
No, we went, we were all they'd sorted out what units we were going to.
What unit was you?
I went to Div Transport for a start.
Transportation unit?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that,
what was that, 16th Field Regiment, or what was it?
no, it was part of 10 Company, ASC.
10th Company?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the company level is lower level, but
Yeah.
what was the bigger unit? Was it regiment?
Well, it was, that was it was 10 Company. That was our only unit there because they disbanded the artillery unit at that stage. There was only the ASC one,
Got it.
which was 10 Company.
And what was your specialty actually?
Well, I was a driver. They started me off as a driver,
Yes.
we only lasted there about a month, and then they disbanded to transport, and they found out I was a carpenter, so they sent me to workshops,
Oh,
and which was a unique unit because it was the only ASC transport unit in the Commonwealth that had a workshop unit attached to it, and that's
mm-hmm. So what kind of job did you do in the workshop?
carpenter.
So for example, what did you do? Did you build a table for commander?
It was
No.
just general maintenance, truck decks, and when the officers had a function, we had to do things up for them and that sort of thing, and
I see.
much to our disgust.
And tell me about the situation in the front line at the time. It's already, the armistice was signed, right? The ceasefire done. So there were no real battle between
No.
North and South, right?
No.
How was the situation? Tell me about it. Was it peaceful or was it still dangerous? What was going on at the time?
Well, it was. I would say it was uneasy. Can I put it that way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why?
Just seemed to be a bit of tension around. Really.
With the reason or without?
You couldn't really put a finger on it, but it was just that,
Still very tension?
yeah. And I've got to be perfectly honest
Yes.
about the situation. Our personal feelings were with South Koreans we had a help in the galley and all that, and galley and that, which were, Koreans, and we had a couple of actually North Koreans with us.
How? Just civilian, right?
Yeah.
North Korean civilians.
Well, yeah, they were used as help, within the camp, within our unit, and they were good guys, and yet a lot of the South Koreans would try to do us in, or flog stuff off us and that sort of thing. So
There was some tension between South and North Koreans.
Yeah. So.
How did you think of Korean people that you worked together there? How did you think about them? They were in a miserable situation, even though the war ended, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, absolutely. As I say, they were still seemed very depressed and oppressed people, Yeah.
What was your rank at the time?
I ended up as a lance corporal.
That's a pretty high.
Oh, heck yeah.
Corporal is pretty high,
It's the rank where you cop it from both sides.
That's right. You are sandwiched.
Yes, absolutely.
Can I ask this question? How much were you paid at the time? Corporal. Your annual salary.
Oh, annual salary, oh gosh.
Monthly. About
We got about, I think it was, gosh, I'm trying to think, was around about a pound,
pound per week.
yeah, something
Yes.
like that, yeah.
So with that money, what did you do?
Well, a certain amount of it was, we had to make a contribution to our savings. We had to put that into a savings account. And I bought stuff and sent stuff home, and when we got leave in Japan, so yeah.
Did you marry at the time?
No,
You were not married?
I was engaged.
Engaged?
Yeah.
Wow, you were brutal. You engaged and you had a job and you left the country. You were. So what was the name of the woman that you were engaged?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Did you write letter back to her?
Yeah.
How often did you do it?
Oh heck, I suppose once or twice a week or something like that.
Twice a day. You are lying,
No,
right?
no, week. No, wasn't that good. No, it'd be about once or twice a week, yeah.
What did you write about?
Rubbish. About rubbish.
Rubbish.
Yeah, just basically what we were doing or what happened.
Do you still keep that letters?
No, I got rid of those.
You got, okay. Must been raided. All right, so what was the most difficult thing during your service in Korea? Even though the war ended, but still, what did bother you mostly? If I ask you to pinpoint only one thing, what was the most difficult thing?
I don't really know.
Was it weather or?
Well, the weather, yeah, the winter was bitter, really bitter, and we, living in tents and in those conditions, it was cold. You'd go to bed and we used to go to bed, what we'd say, a full marching order, fully dressed, and you'd still be cold, and you wake up in the morning and you're in a sleeping bag where you've been breathing, there was all ice around you. I would say that would be the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when did you leave Korea?
It would have been April. It was just before Anzac Day, so that would have been April 56.
And are you following up with what's been done in Korean economy and so on? What's, the modern Korea? What do you know about Korea?
Well, not a great deal, but I do. I'm interested in.
What do you know now?
Well, you put me on the spot.
Do you know about the Korean economy?
Well, it seems to be. It's definitely picked up to what it was. When we were there, and that's one of the things why I'd like to go back there, is to see what exactly has been done, because I got the impression that in Seoul that wasn't, it was a big city, but it wasn't such a...
Have you been to Seoul during your stay there in Korea?
Oh yes, we did.
Oh,
yeah.
tell me about Seoul you saw. Tell me.
I wasn't impressed with it. I thought, well, for being the capital city and that sort of thing, didn't impress me at all. It was, there was all sorts of stories going around about Sigmund Rhee, about how he, one of the stories was that the Yanks had given them a hospital or something, and he turned that into a hotel, and so we weren't. Well, the general opinion was that they weren't overly impressed with the situation.
Were there any construction going around because war ended, or still just remained as it was during the war?
It remained as it was. There was no
So
construction.
you didn't see much buildings there.
No, no.
How about people? Were they crowded with the people, right? Because war ended.
Yeah, it was crowded. It was, yeah. It was, no. It was,
Now, Korean economy, world rank is number 11.
mm,
And by 2030, will be bigger than France. It's
yeah.
going to be ranked number 7, so right behind the Great Britain.
Yeah.
We project it to be number 7 in the world. Can you believe that?
I could believe it because, the stuff they do there with their, vehicle manufacturing and all that sort of thing that's coming through,
Mhm.
it's quite amazing to see, what, for them to go from that to what it was when we were there, Because I got to admit, it seemed to be a very backward, downtrodden country.
Yeah, at the time there was
Yeah.
nothing actually vertically standing there.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
now we are the largest shipbuilder in the world, and we are
Yeah.
the largest share of the semiconductor market.
Yeah,
Most of the computer chips made by us. So I think this is a great transformation. But here I want to invite your daughter together, okay? And I want to ask about some of the historical educations in New Zealand about Korea. So now we have your daughter with you. Please say your name.
Deborah K. Partington.
Deborah.
Yes.
Yes. And so she was born after you returned, right?
I hope so.
Dumb question to ask. So, Deborah, tell me about your high school days. You grown up here, and you graduate here. You went through school here.
Yes.
Did you learn anything about Korea, either war or modern or ancient Korea, from your high school history or middle school history classes?
No.
Not at all?
Nothing, no.
Yes. So you didn't know much about the Korean War from the education, history education?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Huh.
I left college in my third year to go hairdressing. So, and I, didn't sort of go into that much.
Did your father talk about the war at all?
No, only in the latter years.
Late years?
Yeah,
What did
because
he tell you about it?
I was just wanting to know more about what happened. Heard little snippets from Mum as well, and it's probably the last few years, isn't it, Dad? That we've been asking questions.
You've been asking. What kind of question did you ask?
Just what happened. I mean, I heard a thing from Mum saying, Dad was over there, been there 18 months. She said, well, if you don't come home, engagement's off.
Yeah, your wife must
So
be
then he had
very
to come home.
difficult. Yeah, come home, come home.
We've had some nights. Dad's got some slides and some photos. He's
Oh,
of over there. Yeah.
oh, does he have some photos and slides?
Slides, haven't you, Dad?
Yeah.
How many
Actually,
do you-
I lost, when we came back on the New Australia to Sydney, and I had, at Sydney Airport, when we were getting on the plane to come home, someone pinched all my slides, so I lost about 200 slides
Oh,
and a projector and everything, so which was quite upsetting. So, but I still have just a few slides. I've got quite a few photos.
few like 100?
Pardon?
few, like 100 or more
No,
than
I
that?
wouldn't have that many
Okay.
slides, no, but
And it's about Korean scenery, right?
yeah, it was, yeah.
Could you leave it to Elaine so that we can scan this and
Yeah, if I can find them,
Yes,
I'll
please.
dig them out,
yeah, dig them out, please. Deborah, please help him find
Oh,
it.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yes, I will.
What about black and white photos?
Absolutely. If it
Okay.
is during your service
Yeah.
about Korea, we want it. Otherwise, it's going to be buried.
Yeah,
You know, we all die, and when we die, everything goes with it. Not
That's
many
right.
people really pay attention to it.
yeah, sure.
So that's why we are doing this. We're going to put this interview into the website so that everybody can see you and hear from you about Korea that you serve.
Yeah.
You know, and because you didn't learn anything from school, we are going to make it as a curricular resources.
Fabulous.
Okay, so that your children and your grandchildren will learn about your father.
Mm.
How about that?
Yep, perfect.
Would
Wonderful.
you support that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have already published the book, Curricular Resources, Lesson Plan, Modules, and Primary and Secondary Resources for the teachers so that they can teach about Korea in the classroom. There was not many lesson plan. That's why they didn't teach. And I think it will be the case in New Zealand too, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you know about Korea now?
Well, just snippets of what Dad's sort of said. Yeah, about how he said how barren it was. It was very cold in winter and very hot in summer. Stuff about what they made a washing machine, which he's got a photo of the washing machine that they made. It doesn't look like a washing machine, but apparently it worked.
I thought you were talking about Samsung laundry machine, but
Yeah.
no, but you're talking
No.
about the
They
wash
made
machine
It. They
Yeah.
made it.
in 1954.
Yeah. I know. It's like, no,
See.
it can't be a washing machine, but yeah, it was.
This is the thing with being in workshops. We had the ability and the machinery to make things, you know, so we were quite the envy of a lot of the units there because, you know, as I say, we built a washing machine. It was made out of a drum, a fuel drum, what would be about 60-litre drum. We put paddles in that, and then it had a little Bruce Stratton petrol two-stroke motor running it.
So you have the picture?
Yeah, I have.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, Deborah, you have to make sure
I
that
will.
he will give that pictures
Yes,
and
well,
others to
yes, I
Elaine,
do, yeah.
so we can scan this and then we can put this interview into the website with your picture and maybe Deborah's picture there too, and then we can put all the pictures that you took, and people can find the
Yeah.
1954 laundry machine. Okay?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That would be good.
So you know that Korean economy is now 11th largest in the world, bigger than New Zealand. You know that, right?
Mm.
Yeah. What do you think about this? The country your father visited with your mom left alone in New Zealand, and now the Korea is 11th largest in the world, and it's very substantively democratic society. What do you think about this whole transformation?
I think it's amazing because, you know, Dad said, you know, they had nothing. It was very, yeah. So to go that far is just incredible. It says something about the nature and the people.
But we don't teach about it.
No.
It's a shame, isn't it?
It is a big shame.
Yeah. That's why I'm doing this. I was a little bit upset that U.S. doesn't talk much about the war either. 37,000 people killed in that war from the United States, but
Yeah.
they don't talk about it.
No.
Yeah, so that's why we are doing this. Do you know of any history or social studies teachers in New Zealand? Any of your family teaching in the school, or do you know of anybody?
No, but I can find out.
Yeah.
Yep, I've got some being a hairdresser. I've got all sorts of people coming in, and I have got some teachers.
Very
So,
good.
Absolutely, yeah. So, yeah.
So you have now a new mission to find our social studies teachers and let them connect with us and
Yes.
Elaine here in VA
Right.
office, okay?
Terrific.
Beautiful. Kim, you have a beautiful first name, Kim. That's the most popular last name in Korea,
Yeah.
Kim.
Huh?
If you if you throw the stone from the mountain, maybe 5 out of 10 will be hit on the people whose last name is Kim.
Kim, yeah, yeah. I got quite a bit of stick over that when we were over there.
What would you say to the people in New Zealand about the Korea you saw 1954 and the Korea you know now? What would you say to them?
I would say that it's been an exceptional transgression, really, and it's a pity we don't do something like that too. Putting it bluntly, to pull our fingers out and stop, you know.
Are you proud that you served in Korea?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why we're doing this, and great to see you together. And as Deborah said, she didn't learn much about Korea here,
No.
so that's what we want to do.
Oh, there
Thank
you go.
you. It's a great privilege. Yeah.
Excellent. Any other message you want to leave to this interview?
I don't think so. Just it'd be nice to think that there was no conflict anywhere in the world. And we just people could live in peace and harmony. Peace and harmony.
Yes.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to be. It's the way of human nature for people to live in harmony.
Yeah, it's hard. Great. Thank you so much again for coming for this special occasion. We'll make sure we edit this, put it into the website, and then we'll try to use this as a curricular resources. Thank you again for your service, honorable service. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah.
No, thank you.